You are exactly right. What is Andy doing with all these batteries he just bought? What is he doing? He hasn't got solar. There's no energy coming in. Well, that is true. Yeah, 2.2 kilowatt hours today. There's my curve. 13% of the battery I can recharge here in wintertime from the existing 4.1 kilowatt system. But in summertime, I'll be filling up these batteries in no time. But in today's video, I don't want to talk about why I bought these batteries. Well, we need to move on and we need to think about how we connect these batteries to our existing battery. Well, if you are new to the channel, there are a lot of new people here on the channel. So hello, thanks for watching. I just want to show you the existing battery 1.0 we built here in this toolbox. Here it says here. Heavy duty 100 liter toolbox. Yeah, it's like a plastic crate with a lid and all the battery cells are sitting here non-compressed. Aluminium bus bars, balance leads connected. Here's our BMS. The Victron Smart Shunt, a 100 amp fuse and a 300 amp main switch. This is all sitting nicely in this box. Lockable. And then we've got the main switch down here. Positive and negative coming out here on the front. And we also have a charging plug here if we need to recharge the battery manually. And there's also a pre-charge button which actually pre-charges the capacitors inside the inverter. If we have to turn off the battery, we used to press this button and recharge the capacitors inside the inverter. So we don't get a surge and a rush in current which could potentially damage our electronics. Okay, so this is our 4S system I have built here. Well, kind of built. 4S means we've got 4 cells in series. Got negative, positive, and this positive is connected to this negative, and this positive connected to this negative, and so on. Got our main negative here, main positive here, and I have also connected our balance leads. Yeah, right. So these are the balance leads. Just pretend these are the balance leads, and there is a BMS connected on the other side. Got the balance lead negative, one at the positive of the first cell. And then the next positive here, the next positive here, and the main positive as the last one for our BMS. For these cells here, measures individual voltages and disconnects the whole battery if there is something wrong. One of the cells is out of balance, too low, too high, or the whole pack is too high or too low. We've got overcurrent going in or out. All this kind of stuff is the BMS's task, right? Very basic stuff. Now we have bought another 4 battery cells because we were lucky and the box from the supplier in China has just arrived with 4 more battery cells. And we want to connect these ones here now to expand our storage we already have in place. So usually you would take the first of these cells and put them the same way next to the existing one, right? Then you use your bus bars and connect negative to negative, and here positive to positive. Oh, we should do this the other way around, like there. I need to make sure the negatives are showing the right way. And we've got the negatives connected, and here the positives connected. So this is how you would do it, right? You would parallel the first cell with another one. You would parallel the second cell with another one, and the third and the fourth. And then you join these one in series. So you connect the positive of the first battery with the negative of the second battery. And this is our third cell here. That's how a 2P4S system would look like, right? Very basic stuff. We've got 2 cells in parallel and then 4 of these parallel cells in series. And the BMS is still connected to this one cell, and this one cell has now doubled in capacity because we have this one here and this one in parallel. And the BMS doesn't really care about that, how many batteries we have in parallel. It only sees the 3.2 volt of this cell, which is the 3.2 of this cell, and the 3.2 of a possible third expansion you can have, and a possible fourth extension you can have. So you can just keep doing that by paralleling these cells, right? That's what we just did. You can get these other cells, put them in here, and then we've got a 4P 4S system. And we can run this all with one BMS, right? Because this whole string here acts like one battery cell. This string will act like one battery cell. The third one and the fourth one. This is all one battery cell. We don't need to change anything. We just keep adding storage, capacity, more cells. I only need to buy 4 cells at a time and can expand my capacity and energy storage. So this is the very traditional way to expand your capacity of your existing battery. You parallel your cells first and then put these parallel units in series to each other. And the real beauty of that is you can just add storage as you go, as you need it. So again, this is the very traditional way to expand an existing battery. You just keep on paralleling cells. And the super big advantage is you don't need to change anything in your system at all. You can use the same BMS as before, you can use the same cabling, you can use the same circuit breakers. Everything stays the same. There's no other change needed. Unless, of course, you do the upgrade because you need more power coming out of the battery. So usually people do this to just get more capacity. They've got their inverter set up, they've got all their cabling set up, everything is ready to go. They just want more capacity, so the battery lasts longer. Well, I'm in the same boat. I want more capacity. Well, the real downside of doing that and paralleling battery cells, I would need to get rid of this box here, because there's no space in here to fit another layer of 16 cells in here and connect them correctly. This is a one-way street. This is a ready-built box now, and this is what we have, this is what we get, this is how we can use it. There's no other way to expand this battery inside this box. But there's also a different way how you can expand your battery. Alright, again, standard situation. We've got our 4S system here ready built. Positive, negative, positive, negative. This is our existing battery. And how about we are building a second battery? A second battery in the box 2.0. We are building another battery box. A whole while back we talked about it, building another battery box. Starting from scratch again. And make the box 2.0 even better. We put so much thought in this battery box. We discussed all the details, all the features, and of course all the f-ups as well. And I always said, well, we can do this in the box 2.0. And now we've got the chance. We can build a box 2.0. Yeah guys, a completely new battery box 2.0. What do you think? Okay, and for this we have to ask the expert. Meet Simba. Simba, what do you think? Come on, you cannot judge like this. Come on, you have to be here with the batteries. Come on, you have to walk through the batteries here. Come on, just walk through the batteries and get your laser eyes to This didn't go well. If we build a new battery box, I wouldn't need to touch the existing one. I could just operate the whole garage as it is, and once the new battery box is ready, we just connect them in parallel to the first one, right? Well, it is not quite that easy. So we may have to think this through a little bit more. So what we cannot do is parallel just the negative and the positive at the end. This will of course parallel your battery 1 with battery 2. But the BMS will only monitor these cells over here. These ones here are not being monitored at all. There's no connection to the BMS. So with the second battery, we would need a second BMS as well. Additional costs, right? Well, considering a 16S battery, a 50 volt battery, costs about 2,500 Australian dollars, including shipping. A BMS costs about 180, 200, 250 dollars. So around 10% of the battery costs only. So it is not really a big expense, right? So imagine we have a second box here with a small trolley as well. Positive, negative cables coming out. Then we've got positive, negative number 2 coming out of here, connecting to the same bus bar, to the same inverter, to the same solar charge controllers, and we are done, right? And I can keep this one running as it is until we have built the second box. Ah, wait, there's more. So this whole box up here is our battery number 1, including BMS, including the fuses. And now we are building a second box, battery number 2, and connect this to our inverter. The only thing we need to change really is the smart shunt. The smart shunt is currently inside the battery 1 box. So this one needs to come out of there and it needs to be moved down here somewhere. So both battery boxes, both the battery 1 and number 2, needs to be connected to the smart shunt first, because we want to measure the energy going in and out of both batteries. Well, the alternative would be to buy a second smart shunt and leave everything as it is. You've got one smart shunt in the first battery and a second smart shunt in the second battery box. But I'm not sure how this Victron gear responds to this, because we've got 2 battery voltages then, and the smart shunt reports all these voltages and currents it measures to the solar charge controllers to give them a better reading and understanding what is going on with the battery. And if we have 2 of them, I'm not sure if this works. Has anyone built this with 2 smart shunts yet? So I would really say we have to take out the smart shunt, and this is our main. Well, actually the smart shunt needs to be in the negative. Okay. Before you get all mad at me, I've changed the drawing now. So we've got the positive and negative coming out of box 1, positive, negative coming out of box number 2. The positives are combined to one bus bar. There might be a main switch going into the inverter. The 2 negatives are going into the smart shunt to the inverter. Well, it goes this way. So now we are clear. And there's only one smart shunt which reports the voltage and the amps going in and out of these batteries to the solar charge controllers. So they know what's going on. Yes, so at the moment I'm really leaning to building a second battery instead of paralleling them to the existing ones. Because in this case I could just take out the fuses or the breakers for battery number 2 and can take out the battery number 2 completely off the system and run the whole show just from the original battery number 1. Or I can do the opposite. I can leave the battery number 2 in there and can take battery number 1 offline for maintenance, repairs, testing, whatever stuff. And I don't lose any functionality. I cannot do this if I have them all paralleled, because then all the cells work as one big giant battery. I can only turn off the battery at once, but then there's no power to the system at all anymore. We are totally offline. And also, I'm just going back to this very traditional way to parallel these battery cells here. We've got the BMS here connected to this one giant cell of a 4P system. But how do you know how good this battery cell still is? You got the BMS connected, but the BMS sees only these 4 cells as one cell. It cannot determine if this cell is good and this one is bad. This one gets hot for some reason because it's faulty. We don't have any safety measures in place here at all. And the more you parallel, the worse this gets. There's one cell in between your system which may not work correctly anymore after many years of operation, and you don't know about it. You basically only feel the battery doesn't hold capacity anymore, the battery doesn't work correctly anymore, performance is not good, you don't really know why. And you check your BMS and everything seems to be fine. So there's no way to control single cells in a parallel connection. While here, if we have two separate batteries and we've got 2 separate BMSs, One BMS monitors all these individual cells in battery number 1, and your second BMS monitors all the cells individually in battery number 2. So if you have a cell somewhere which is not working correctly, one of the two BMSs will find out and will show you exactly your cell number 6, 7 and 8 are not working correctly, right? As we have seen it with our battery number 1, the BMS will identify that. And this is a big advantage to have only a 1P system. There's only one cell in series with another cell. So at first glance it seems easier to just parallel the cells and leave the system as it is, but it has a lot of disadvantages, I think. And the more I look at this system here and see what benefits it provides with having two separate batteries and then connect them to the inverter, I think this is the way to go. So the smart shunt will move into here somewhere eventually, and we potentially have to rearrange. It is all not that easy. It is not a quick process. And I also thought of not buying a second toolbox. I thought about a more sustainable and practical approach to host all these batteries now, all these cells. We are talking about 32 individual cells now. They all need to be busbarred correctly, BMS'd correctly, and cabled eventually to the bus bars inside the electrical cabinet here. And I thought about this for a long time now, and I think I have found a good solution which also gives us enough room for the future to even further expand the system with more battery cells. And this in a very easy and consistent way. I still like the idea with the wheels underneath though, so I'm looking at a half mobile, kind of mobile solution. So this is roughly 90 kilos here in this box. And we've got another 90 kilos, so there's 200 kilos, say, all in total. And I probably want at least another 2 of these batteries, so we can have 4 batteries in this unit. Well, we are talking well over 60 kilowatt hours of storage then. Ah, hello Bonnie. Hello Bonnie. Do you want to have a look at these battery cells here and tell me what you think about it? This is Bonnie, our kettle dog. Well, she's a mix. Bye Bonnie. Well, as you can see, there's a lot to consider when you expand your existing battery pack. And I'm carrying all these thoughts with me for quite a while now. And I'm so glad I can share them now with you and get all these millions of comments. Usually you come up with such good solutions, so I cannot wait to read them. So this is my overall basic thinking at the moment, what I would like to do. I think building a second separate battery has far more benefits than just parallel them with the existing one. And I really like this idea of redundancy as well. If one battery is not working correctly or something for whatever, I can just take out one battery and the system will keep working. And if we later on continue with this and get more storage, because I need to think about the future as well. If we take the whole house off grid at some stage, I need some redundancy. I cannot just take off the whole battery and disconnect the whole house, shut everything down completely. That's just not what's going to happen. But I can always take out a third or a quarter of an existing battery without harming the whole system. It is still operational and running. But I'm still not 100% sure if I have not missed something in this whole thinking. So if you come across anything important, share it, let me know. This will be again a nice battery community project. I will listen to your suggestions, well, if they are okay, you know. And then we build this battery together and see how this all works. But this is my thinking at the moment. We will have to change some stuff in the electrical cabinet as well, with the bus bars and everything again. But this is unavoidable. But I think the eventual solution will be a sustainable, reliable and a future-proof solution. The battery box 1.0 was good. It all worked out eventually. It supplies my whole garage with power for over 6 months now, and there was not one issue with it, not one. But now we have to move on with this and need to think about what is coming next, what is coming in the future. And I don't want to end up with 3 or 4 of these boxes here sitting in the garage. It's very hard to stack them with this weight on it. I would need to build a shelf or something where this doesn't look like a professional solution to me anymore. Okay guys, I think this is all I have to share tonight with you. Just after the last video about receiving these battery cells here, I want to start early with sharing these informations with you, so I can make up my mind. We can discuss certain things, pro and cons of having them in parallel or as a separate battery bank. Guys, what do you think? What would be the best solution for that? Well guys, thank you almost 10,000 times for all the support here on this channel, for all your beer donations. Guys, thank you so much for all your donations. I've got so much, I'll show you later. Guys, you are all amazing. Thanks for all the comments, all the many emails, all the messages I get. I'm trying to respond. Time is really the constraining factor here. Leave all your comments and thoughts down there. Has anyone built a second separate battery instead of paralleling them? I would be really keen to hear their experience with it. So leave this all down under the video here. As always guys, stay charged. More important, stay safe. We shall see us again in one of the next videos here from the Off-Grid Garage in Australia. And I shall catch you then, right? Thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye bye.